Learned helplessness is the only thing I know. Or, if you put it like a conservative Bible fucker, excuses. But anyway, sometimes I don't know whether I'm autistic or a specimen of a rare species that just sees where people go wrong. For instance, years ago I had an abscess in a spot that made sitting uncomfortable. But because I wasn't screaming and crying for the pain like an idiot, the doctor didn't believe me until he looked it up. Like, not that I'd underestimate his knowledge in his field, but fucking hell, if I get all dramatic for every inconvenience that I have in my life, then I'll probably be put in a straitjacket or something. So, over the years, with situations like that, you learn to be helpless because none of the reactions you can express ever lead to the desired outcome, which in this case would be that the doctor would just do his fucking job and believe you in the first place. What I'm talking about here is the familiar, damned if you do, damned if you don't situation that I've found myself in over and over again. Thank God there are people like Aaron Clary who can make my involuntary singlehood at least a bit more bearable. He's way older than me in my mid-30s, yet he's saying the same thing I've been saying more or less in my Finnish videos, while having a girlfriend, by the way. Not that I was the one having a GF, but anyway, he's basically saying the same thing that I've been saying about the majority of the communities out there. Most of them treat you like shit, while expecting you to contribute to them. One of his latest videos about getting a vasectomy only confirmed what I've been feeling about most people around me since I was a teen. People will gladly bully you to a point of depression and all that, but if you decide to get a vasectomy, they basically attack you for not becoming a wage slave by having a child whose livelihood requires you to sell your soul to shitty employers. I mean, shit. No wonder my parents were so fucking tense when my brother and I were kids. Yet that's what most people seem to expect, because apparently having kids and then neglecting their mental needs for a shitty job is the only way to keep society running, as if having an army of burned-out parents benefited everyone. Yet, even after explaining all this, most people, in my experience, just never connect the dots and realize that jumping into the alligator pit will likely kill you. They hate people who choose to survive, because the survivors will call their own choices into question, which their weak, conformist minds can't stand. I'd be glad to just work and save enough money to retire by my 50s, if I could stand the gaslighting of most people, and if a job paid the same as my current benefits. But again, as most people regard my reasoning as a list of excuses anyway, there's no point interacting with them by any means, including having a job. Officially, I've been diagnosed with Asperger's and depression, which, after years of pulling teeth, finally put me into the position of receiving disability checks. Of course, Aaron Clary is still one of those who regard living off the taxpayer as parasitism. But again, what did the happiest country in the world ever do besides putting me between a rock and a hard place? Why the fuck should I not receive benefits after years of being told to fuck off and end myself by the action and inaction of my country? Can't I at least keep what I currently have, after being excluded from a normal social life, not to mention romantic relationships? Which, by the way, was the only thing that made me hang in the school system, and by that I mean a dream of finding love someday. Which, of course, is yet to happen. Most of you normies seem to forget that people are social animals, and that the ones who don't turn out like me were always treated well to begin with. Most people just seem to have this irresistible urge to fuck me over, no matter what. And even if it was just me being unhinged, therapy is way too fucking expensive for whatever budget I can have. But even after explaining all this, I can guarantee there are some bitches out there who will regard me as a pure parasite, not a victim of a systemic failure. Well, gladly, the people who finally granted me disability were on my side on this. So, because you normies fucked me over to begin with, I'm glad to live off your taxes. You fucked me and my parents over by ignoring what they told you about my autistic symptoms in the 90s. You fucked me over by having an incompetent special needs teacher almost sending me to a worse school and forcing me to leave my friends behind for a better school at the time before everyone had mobile phones. You're most likely tempted to fuck me over by belittling my current and past struggles as you watch this, because you think you're superior by bottling up your own struggles and thus contributing to the general shittiness of society. You fucked me over by leaving me on my own devices and not being the voice of truth to me, while probably being aware of my special needs. You fucked me over by sending the worst bullies after me in middle school with no regard for my mental health. You fucked me over by continuing with the same bullcrap in my upper secondary education. And even after all this, you're still expecting me to be at the level of you soulless fucktards who contribute to the status quo and then wonder why everything's going to shit. You're never going to stop and perhaps learn about your fuckery against people like me, because at the end of the day you're nothing but an overrated herd of conformists who could as well drive drunk and never care about the resulting carnage. You say you care for others, but time and time again your actions tell me that you only care about what's popular instead of what would benefit everyone. Autism seems rather unpopular, even though you effectively live off the hard work of our autistic ancestors, who told assholes like you to fuck off, looked at how things work, and then annihilated whatever theories were popular at the time. But of course, we still can't just give up on conformism because fucking over people who can make it better for everyone is so much more fun, right? You're a bunch of unforgivable idiots who only get to do whatever they fucking want, because you're the majority in our fucked up world. So be fucking grateful that I'm not a school shooter at this point. Do whatever the fuck you do to survive, and let me have this one moment of peace with my tax-paid disability checks. I may not be free in a sense of living off investment income or something, but this is absolutely the best fucking thing I'll ever have in my otherwise shitty life. So until the welfare bubble collapses, you can kiss my ass. Trust me. You'll have plenty of time to shit on me and prove my point once the system collapses. So if anything, you should be thankful that the welfare bubble, and me finally having a say on anything in my personal life, most likely won't last forever.